where you scream to watch that, watch this, and I'll dive down through this hairy flesh.
Hello and welcome to Watch This. I'm CJ Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Netflix has a big October. It's got some big returning series, including, can you believe it, Season 5 of Bojack Horseman. I've loved Bojack Horseman since the beginning, and I've got to admit that having its creator on my radio show, when I had a radio show on ABC, Movieland, Raphael Bob-Waksberg was one of my best guests ever. He is a delightful and off-the-wall person, and speaking to him face to face really gave me an understanding of where this crazy show came from, because it is crazy and it is unique, but it's also got many other qualities. To discuss them and the latest season, I'm joined by Christie and Adam Du Bois. Adam Boys. Thanks, guys. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, CJ.
I appreciate the effort trying to get a little something in there for me.
Let's all give ourselves crazy names for this crazy show.
So crazy.
On this new show, Filbert. I'm Filbert, star of the show. Hey everyone, Bojack's here, ready to shoot.
You say you want to get better and you don't know how.
I'm not someone therapy works on. I might be too smart.
Would it kill you to smile?
Your histories with Bojack Horseman, have you both been with it since the beginning?
Sort of, not that much. I liked it, but it didn't drive me crazy or anything. I enjoyed it. But that was about it, yeah. What about you, Adam?
First season, I actually didn't quite get it. I was a big Rick and Morty fan and these other animations and Archer, and I didn't get it. And then it wasn't until I was just sitting there watching other people watch season 2 and 3 that I went, oh, actually this show's really deep. And I had to go back and then get back on the page with it. So I was very much excited to see this season.
Yeah, for people who are unaware, it's about a television actor who was on a very famous TV show in the 90s where he was the lead, and it was very successful and ran for long enough that he is now essentially wealthy till he dies and beyond. He's basically
Bob Saget.
Yeah, he's fully comfortable with money. So he lives in a big house, but he can't really necessarily get a great new acting job. And so he's essentially successful and wealthy and famous, but he's not happy because he's got this existential despair about his life and his meaning. Well, he's got existential despair, basically. And over the course of the seasons, he develops, certainly for at least 2 of the seasons, I would say he literally has clinical depression.
Oh, big time.
And so it is a show about Hollywood and about when success leaves you, but you've got sort of the detritus of success still lying around you, the house, the money, the fame. It's about depression and other mental illnesses. And by the way, it happens to be animated, and by the way, it happens to be populated by people, some of whom are humans, some of whom are animals, and some of whom are any combination thereof. And so Bojack Horseman is half man, half horse, and that's just the beginning of the crazy creatures, and that's never commented on.
Never.
Which I love. I love it.
And there's interspecial relationships.
Oh God, they take a baby horse out of a woman, of a human woman. Oh, I cringed at that.
It's Entourage with higher stakes.
It definitely has higher stakes. That's so true.
Yeah.
Because to me, the thing that drove me nuts about Entourage was the lack of stakes.
Yeah, it kind of made fun of the human condition, whereas this is very much exploring the human condition while still making fun of Hollywood, or Hollywoo.
Hollywood.
Yeah.
You say you want to get better and you don't know how.
Is this like an AA thing?
No, I don't need AA.
This is going to be a sensational season of television.
It's confusing, which means the show is daring and smart.
I think I can handle exactly this amount of complication, as long as things don't become one bit more complicated.
What appeals to you most about it, you guys? Like, what of those elements? You know, the mental illness, the Hollywood satire, the fact that it's a cartoon with creatures.
I think it's very authentic portrayal of depression and a great eye into Hollywood. I had a bit of sort of reluctance to get into Bojack because so many guys my age, sort of apathetic, tortured soul guys who I didn't really like that much, would always be like, oh, I love that show. And I know why they love that show, because this guy, who was sort of, pretty shitty guy, made them feel good about themselves, you know. So I was like a little bit reluctant to get into it just because of my own sort of personal grievances against, not grievances, but people I knew in my everyday life who loved it. So I was like, oh yeah. But actually, I think after watching some of the 5th season, I'm a changed woman. I'm a changed woman.
Wow.
I really enjoyed the 5th season.
Wow. Okay. What about you?
It's interesting because I love the dynamic between Diane and Bojack, his best friend.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's weird because he doesn't really do well with friendships or relationships, and neither does she really, and so they've got this really great friction and friendship. I actually, it's funny, I didn't feel good watching this season, and I think being at the age I'm at and being a man as well, I really felt some of the things he's dealing with in this show, and so I didn't have fun, but it was so clever, it was so real, it did touch on some really great things, and yet always is funny. That's what's great about it. It's always funny, and yet still can be so gut-wrenching real. Yeah.
I didn't have fun last season. Last season, sort of my memory of last season is that essentially it's mainly about Bojack's relationship with his mother, who has encroaching dementia. And that I got really
season
bummed.
4.
Well, season 4,
same.
season 4.
Sorry, 100%,
And
same.
I got bummed out. It really bummed me out and saddened me and depressed me, and I just found it, by the end, I thought it was too heavy going. And this season, I feel revitalized. I feel it's bouncier, it's lighter, it still goes there, it still deals with issues, but it is, I think it's funnier, I think it's swifter, and I love the risks it's taking. Like this episode that's behind us is an episode where Bojack has to give a eulogy at a funeral, and about 5 minutes in, you're thinking, I think this whole thing is going to be just the eulogy, and it is, and it's an unbelievable piece of comedic writing because it's just Bojack speaking for 24 minutes, and it's brilliant.
Will Arnett, though, you want to listen to him talk forever.
Yeah, and that script was written by Bob Raphael. He doesn't necessarily write them all, but he wrote that one. And so he would have just sat down and been like, interior funeral parlor, and then Bojack, and then just 24 pages of that, and it was really good.
Yeah,
it was really
fantastic.
good.
Look at you skulking behind doors with a malevolent aura.
I'm a bad guy. And the world needs to know.
Are you keeping things together?
What's going on with you?
Are you gonna be okay?
I think when you say not having fun with it, I really sort of was thinking about this today on a very basic level. With these bright colours and these strange creatures and everything, your brain is sort of expecting this happy-go-lucky thing. And when you don't get that, it really is like weird. You get these weird sort of withdrawal symptoms almost, and it really sort of not hurts, just confuses your brain, and you're just sort of, give me some happiness, or something. So it's just it's just something about it. Really, it does something to the brain.
This sort of risk as well makes me think of Mad Men. I think Mad Men was a show, for me, one of the best shows on television. Does the same thing. Does a whole episode where the lead character doesn't speak. Opening season with the protagonist not talking. And I just think I love a show that will do something really risky and not just rehash a musical episode like a lot of other shows have done, or do something that other shows have done,
In fact, this show really, really, really deconstructs all of that. Like, it will make a comment like, I guess this is the episode that's entirely a musical, and then it won't be. Or, like, there's an episode in this season where these two characters who are very, very minor characters spend the entire episode having dinner, and they reference the fact that essentially one of them is providing the A plot and the B plot. Like, there's all this deconstruction of the form going on, which is really good, and which in lesser hands could be bad, but I think he does it incredibly well. And like, one of the episodes this season is composed entirely of flashbacks, the Halloween party flashbacks, that suddenly fill in this enormous amount of information on how all the characters met that you've never known before. And it was like, I didn't know we really needed that, but now we've got it all.
But even that episode goes really deep in examining the character of Mr. Peanut Butter. I can't believe I said that out loud. But the character of Mr. Peanut Butter, and gives us a real human condition examination of his history.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Who's your favourite character?
Oh my! Oh, Bojack. You know, he's the most interesting. He's the most interesting one. What about you guys?
I like Diane.
Yeah?
I think I love Diane. Yeah.
For me,
too normal.
it's totally always Princess Caroline.
Oh, she's amazing too.
I just think she is just the greatest television character.
Yeah, she is wonderful. Yeah.
Bojack season 5 is currently streaming on Netflix.
You say you want to get better and you don't know how.